Google started in your garage, essentially, in 1998. How did Larry and Sergey end up in your garage?
Yeah, so I wish I could say I had a great eye and I picked them out of students, out of all the students at Stanford, and I said, oh, come and rent my garage. I wish I could tell you that, but it didn't work that way. What happened was I bought a house, and houses are really expensive in Silicon Valley, and I was a student, and so I wanted someone to help me pay the mortgage. They were looking for space, and there were just the two of them, and they had one employee. And space was also really expensive, and so the idea that they could just move into my garage quickly and easily at a relatively low cost for them was really appealing. And so they just moved in.
Your mom was a teacher, your dad was a physics professor at Stanford, you have two sisters, Anne, who's the founder of 23andMe, Janet, who's an epidemiologist. Tell me about a day in the life in the Wojcicki household.
So first of all, we grew up on the Stanford campus. And so it meant that all of the neighbors that we had were professors around us, which I think definitely influenced us because everybody was studying to do something and had a passion. And so I'm the oldest, and I would say I'm like maybe the more practical one as the oldest one. And growing up, I was also really creative. I always loved making things, and I think that's actually what led me to computers in the end.
How did you parlay your history and literature degree at Harvard, by the way, into becoming the CEO of a giant technology company?
So I studied history and literature at Harvard. I had no idea that I was going to go into technology at all. If you had told me that when I was a student, I would have thought you were completely crazy. I used to come home, and I used to do these temp jobs when I would come home from college. So I'd have a week free, and I would just call a temp service and say, just place me anywhere. And one time I was at a lawyer. Another time I actually got placed at the garbage company to answer the phone. And the third time I got placed at a startup. And I realized wow, they can use technology and they have these big ambitions. And I thought, that's really cool. I want to be part of it. So when I went back and I was a senior, I decided to take a computer science class at Harvard, which was crazy because there was no other humanities senior taking a computer science class. But it was really good. I got a good basis. And then when I moved back home, I came to Silicon Valley and I was able to get a job. And I've been there ever since.
You were Google's 16th employee. First marketing manager. You worked on Google Doodles, Google Images, Google Books. You built the ad business. How many hats have you worn in 18 years?
I think when you join a startup, you just sort of have to be willing to do whatever the startup needs you to do. But part of it also was that because maybe I didn't have as fixed a role at first, I was always looking for the opportunity. And so I was like, oh, look, there's an opportunity. Nobody else is working. For example, when I worked on image search, I was like, no one else is working on image search. There are all these other people, they're working on the text search, but images would be really cool. And today that's a really popular search. So I think doing lots of things and having the freedom to move around the company actually enabled me to see a lot of opportunities and then grow them.